I want to talk to you about a couple of things that are very, very concerning to me. Something I told you last night on the TV show, that there are 11 things that the left has needed that I have been watching since about 2008. That I started doing my homework on revolution, and I talked to people all over the world that have either witnessed them or are professors that understand this system. I mean, it really is. You have to have a system to overthrow a nation if you're going to do it successfully. And it runs the same way. And I put these 11 things together, and I've been watching them for 20-some years. Because of that, I really didn't think all of them would come into play. I thought there were about 4 or 5. I thought they'll never get this. Military was one of them. Intelligence agency was another one. I never thought that they would be able to turn the police force against the people, and they haven't. They've just destroyed it. They have all of the pieces they need. Last night on the chalkboard, I added a couple of others. One, what does this collapse into? So you need a net, and then you do a controlled collapse. You manage the decline, and that's the phase we're in right now. You will not recognize your lifestyle. Hear me. I've said you won't recognize your country, and that is true, and you don't recognize it if you're anything like me or any of my friends. You don't recognize this country anymore. It's not the same country. And you know we're on the wrong track. And that's not a left-right thing. That's a right-wrong thing. We're on the wrong track. I'm telling you now, new information. You are not going to recognize the American lifestyle. And I don't want to put a time on it because I'm always wrong in timing. But it could happen tomorrow. It could happen in 5 years from now. But it will happen. We are headed for a very different country, one where you don't have the rights that you have, and you certainly don't have the economic privileges that Americans are used to. And when I say privileges, I mean energy. I mean going out and getting a hamburger. There's a couple of things that I want to talk to you about, and next Wednesday night I'm doing a special on the economy that you really need to pay attention to. But something happened last night, and honestly, I wish I had a crystal ball that could give me an answer here. But something important happened in China, and I'm not sure how this is going to affect us yet. I've got my tentacles out to a few people that I respect. So far, they're all like, I don't know. I don't know. This is big, but I don't know. You just need to have it on your radar. The Lehman Brothers collapse. Remember, there was Bear Stearns and then Lehman Brothers. When Lehman Brothers collapsed in 2008, that's when the crap hit the fan, right? That's when we went into full-fledged TARP. We've got to destroy the free market to save the free market. That's when all the lights around the world were supposed to go out because of the collapse of Lehman Brothers. Now, yesterday, and I told you about this last week, that it looked like it was coming, but yesterday, the Chinese Lehman Brothers collapsed, and it's going to have a cascading effect on the Chinese financial markets, and it's weird because I'm not sure how this is going to work because China is such a different market. The good news here is the Chinese version of Lehman Brothers we don't have a lot of exposure to it. According to an article I read last night, 90% of Evergrande, that's the name of their Lehman Brothers, it's owned by Chinese investors, mostly institutional. So the losses are isolated to China, or more so to China than Lehman Brothers, where they had about 50% of all of the exposure was overseas. Only 10% of this is overseas. However, this is going to be really, really bad for the Asian markets. And when I say Asian, I mean Australia and New Zealand. Australia is going to get hit hard by this because their Social Security Trust Fund was invested in this company through this company. It's a huge part of their Social Security Fund is in this. So you're gonna start to see decline of lifestyle and decline for senior citizens in the Asian Pacific region. This is going to have big ripple effects. I don't know how yet. What the problem was is derivatives. The same thing that happened in 2008 now has happened in China. And by the way, our derivative problem is far bigger than it was in 2008. Far bigger. This time, it's going to take everything down. When it collapses, it will take everything down. Now, here's what I want you to know about this in China. This is the most important lesson we can learn from this today. This is China's investment. They took all of this money and they had shovel-ready projects, public housing, and ghost cities. All of those things that were built in and around this firm. So all of those ghost cities, all of those things, there is no return on investment on things that usually the government is looking to do. When they fund these things, we're investing in the future. That's what China said. But there is no return on that investment because no one is there paying rent. How can you invest in our country and say we're investing by helping people, paying people, and giving them no job, making sure they're sitting on their butt at home, and also canceling their rent payments and their mortgage payments? That will collapse an economy. It just happened with their bridges and cities to nowhere. This is important that you understand what's happening. I'd like to page John Galt. Are you out there? Are you out there, John? Because Atlas Shrugged is happening right now. Now, there's a couple of other things that I wanted to share with you. The Bureau of Safety and Environmental Enforcement has said now that staff are still evacuated from 36 production platforms, and that's about 7% of all the manned platforms in the Gulf of Mexico because of Hurricane Ida. What this means is we're going to be way, way short of our oil. And remember, Saudi Arabia is not really a friend of ours anymore. They're not cutting us any special deals because we don't have the clout anymore. China is getting the special deals. They just made a deal. We asked them. Joe Biden went to them and said, hey, can you control this a little bit? Open up the spigots. Nope. But they did give China a break on their oil. We are managing our decline. The reason why Donald Trump was so hated by the people of Davos and all of these corporations that work together and all of the deep state is because the deep state and all of these corporations and financial institutions, they've screwed things up. And so they have decided that America is no longer going to be the leader of the free world, and they will manage this decline and bring us into line with the rest of the world, and then they'll have their great reset. This is why I say you are not going to have the privilege of your lifestyle in the coming months, years, decades, because the people who are in charge of America now no longer believe in America. If I were president of the United States, Donald Trump was president of the United States, Ronald Reagan, he would not be saying, well, we're just going to give up and let's manage the decline. He would be saying, what do we do to have to get back to our full potential? That's why we were energy independent. And that is why Joe Biden took us to a place where now our gas prices are going to go through the roof. One other story that came out today. The U.S. and the EU seek to partner in a joint pledge to cut methane emissions by 2030 by 30%. Stu, what is the main source of methane emissions in America?
There's many sources, but people like to talk about livestock.
Livestock.
Let's just put it nicely.
Livestock. Remember, the World Economic Forum, the left, everybody, including the meat processing companies, are telling you that meat is going to be a rarity and something for special occasions only by 2030. This is part of it. Again, they are managing this. It is so critical that I'll tell you about that later. It is so critical right now that you please inform yourself, prepare for impact, and whatever you do, do not get angry. There is a couple of things that I want to talk to you about this Capitol 6 rioter thing. It's a setup. I believe this is very possibly a setup. We've had people online looking. There is no buzz on this. No buzz on this. It's as if it's not happening. And then Roger Stone comes out. And even Roger Stone says, don't go to that. Don't. It's a setup. With what we learned about the FBI yesterday and what we already know, you cannot trust the FBI. You cannot trust things. You know, they are telling you to deny the things that your eyes see. I'm telling you, don't trust anything. You have to be very careful. Verify everything and be very careful. Because the two things I added to the chalkboard, one, the net. What is it collapsing into? We know now. It's the Great Reset. And the second thing is the event. I don't know what the event will be, but there will come an event. And God forbid it's something like January 6th. But there will be an event that will give them the excuse to say, let it go. Now we've got it. Now put it into the net. Please be very careful.